with CDO, the very first thing you need to do is configure the secure device connector so you can communicate with your devices. So just a quick primer overview of what the secure device connector is. The secure device connector is a small virtual appliance that sits between CDO Cloud and the devices that you're managing. It acts as a proxy or a broker. Really, it does two things. It manages the communication between CDO and your devices, and it also holds the keys and the credentials for those devices. In this lab, we're going to do a little bit of an unorthodox way of installing the SDC, but it's still a supported way, and it would work in a production environment. However, we also have a virtual appliance that you can download and do exactly the same thing that I'm about to show you. So this is my Windows 10 computer that was provided from the lab, and I'm going to log into CDO for the first time. So if I bring up Chrome, or I could use Firefox, and then go to the IP address that I gave you in the lab guide, 198.168.134.139. And this will send you directly to CDO and log you in without having to put new credentials in. So I'm logged in the CDO. If I go to the devices and services page, this page should be empty. If it's not empty, just go ahead and select all your devices and delete them. There'll be a select all, and then there'll be a remove button over here to get to a clean slate. Then you're going to come up to the top right hand where it has your username, and just choose Secure Device Connectors. There may be something configured here. It's probably going to say exactly what it says here. Default Cloud Active. By default, when we deploy a tenant environment, oftentimes we'll deploy it with the Cloud Secure Device Connector. Most customers want to use the on-premise one, and for the purposes of this lab, we're also going to be wanting to use an on-premise one. So we'll need to remove this Cloud Secure Device Connector. We only support one at a time. So to remove it, just select it, choose Remove. The only way you can remove a secure device connector is if there are no devices in your environment being managed. We don't want someone to inadvertently remove the secure device connector. So you put in the name of the that shows here. For the case of the cloud secure device connector, it'll show default. For other secure device connectors, it might say the name of the tenant. So just go ahead and click OK, and now that record is removed from CDO. So now we want to deploy an on-premise secure device connector. So to do so, just click on the button Deploy On-Premise. 9 times out of 10, when you're deploying this for a customer or in your own environment, you're going to simply download this SDC VMware image, install it, answer some questions about networking, and then there's a place in the vApp where you're going to insert this bootstrap data. This bootstrap data is unique to this tenant in this environment. But for the case of this lab, we can't do that because we don't have access to the actual vCenter infrastructure. So we're going to go about this in a different way. So I'm going to copy this to my buffer and bring up PuTTY. And one of your options in PuTTY is the secure device connector. So we've already deployed a virtual machine that's running CentOS on it. That will be used as the secure device connector for this lab. So login as root, Cisco 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Become the secure device connector user, SDC. And then if you do a quick ls, you'll see that there's already some things in there because to develop the lab, we already put some pieces of CDO in here. But from a ground up perspective, what we're going to do is I've created this script called CDO SDC boot. And what that's going to do is kind of mimic what we would have done with the downloading the virtual secure device connector. I'm going to just mimic some things here. But really all you need to do is run this script, and you have one piece of input. The input is this hash that is in the buffer back here. So if you just go ahead and copy that and paste it in, you'll see that it pasted in. Hit return. We go through the back. We uncompress that file. Really, it's a base64 encoded file. We uncompress it. We fire up a bootstrap. We download some Docker containers from some different locations, and we go ahead and build that secure device connector. To test to see if the secure device connector is there, there's really two ways to do that. One is, if I do an ls, you'll see that there's a directory called data. If I cd into data, you'll see that there are a couple different, I'm running multiple secure device connector containers on this one VM, but I can run just one. Most customers just will have one. But if I cd into Cisco dCloud demo 2, which is the environment I'm in right now, and do an ls and cd into logs, and tail, there's a log file in here called lar.log. If I tail that, we'll see that it's counting. So something, it's working. My secure device connector is deployed at this point. If I want to test it, if I come back, you'll see that it's active and that it's on-prem. I can always, at any point in time, if I feel like my secure device connector isn't responding, or if I feel like there's the CDO is disconnected from my environment, I can do two things. One, I can test it by requesting a heartbeat. And what that does is the secure device connector is constantly checking in with CDO, and if it sees that request heartbeat, it'll send a message back saying, hey, I saw that you asked me for a heartbeat, I'm responding back, and you can see that heartbeat just responded. If things are really offline, maybe in the lab environment, if things get shut down and then brought back up, sometimes it takes the secure device connector and CDO a little bit of time to sync back up. But you can really do this manually by saying request a reconnect. And what that does is essentially, it doesn't re-onboard the SDC, but it goes through the procedure of making sure that it's connected, that the keys are all secure, and things of that nature. So it forces the SDC and the CDO to establish their communication back together. So that's really all you have to do to get the secure device connector deployed in your environment. And now you can start onboarding devices in the CDO, which is the next piece of this lab.